of the one. You see, they are one. They are not two. The lover and the beloved are one. There is another story of how you have to learn to swim in the ocean of love. You have, it is not sufficient to know something about love, to know something about these ordinary sciences, to learn something and to add to your knowledge, to your information. You see, according to T.S. Eliot, he says that once we had wisdom, and then from wisdom we descended to knowledge, and from knowledge we have descended into information, and from information into total ignorance. You see? So we have to rise back to this wisdom, not knowledge. Even knowledge brings some self-conceit. So he tells you the story of a self-conceited grammarian. You know, in the past, grammarian people believed that, well, they know so much about the grammar and the very delicate and intricate relationship between the words. So he embarked on a ship, and then he was very self-conceited. He turned to the captain and said, "Have you ever studied grammar?" He said, "Well, no, I never heard of it." He said, "Then half of your life is gone for naught." He said, "Then half of your life is gone for naught." And then the captain was broken-hearted, but he didn't say anything at the time. And then after a time, the sea was stormy, and the ship was about to sink. So the captain turned to the grammarian and said, "Have you ever studied how to swim?" He said, "No, I never learned it." He said, "Then all your life is gone for naught." Because it is not a question of nahv, which is grammar. You have to study mahv, which means annihilation. On the road of love, you have to learn the knowledge of annihilation rather than of grammar. You know, this is what actually Miss Emily Dickinson says, "Who are you? I am nobody." In a very beautiful poem, he says, "I am nobody. Who are you? If you are nobody like me, then we are two. Don't tell anyone. They would banish us, because people are somebody, and they want to be somebody. They don't know that if they are nobody, then they are everybody. See, when you are somebody, then you are limited to that somebody. This is just a piece of calligraphy, so it's nothing else. That is another piece. That is the piece of painting. That is all limited to that form, that body he is taking. He is somebody. But if you ask a mirror, "Who are you?" He said, "Well, I'm nobody. But since I'm nobody, I am green, I am blue, I have all forms of the world. My heart is receptacle of all form." So, in another story, Rumi wants to show you how you have to abide by your beloved and to suffer the hardships of love. It is not just to say the name of love and then go on your way, and to think that it is not an easy way. It has its own hardships. So he tells the story of a Qazvini from the province of Iran, near Tehran. He happened to come to a public bath, and he asked someone to tattoo on his back the picture of a lion. Lion is a symbol of love, again, because it devours you and it eats you completely. You see, because somebody was asked, what is a lion? He said, "This is lion." He said, "Well, this is no lion, this is just some words." And then he drew the picture of a lion. He said, "This is lion." They said, "This is no lion, because if you beat it, it doesn't move. So what sort of lion it is?" Then he took the man by the hand and took him to a wood. And then from afar, he showed him the real lion. He said, "Well, is that lion?" He said, "No, it is not lion." And then he became angry and said, "Well, what is lion then?" He said, "Well, lion is the one that devoured you." See? So love is not what you are talking about. Love is not what you know about it. Love is not what you can capture. You are captured by love. You have to be devoured. You have to be hunted. You can't hunt love. You have to let yourself be hunted by love. So the story goes like this, that he said, well, draw a picture of a lion on my back. And he started, it is very painful because you have to push, do it with a needle, and it is very painful. So when he started painting, the man said, oh, stop, what are you doing? He said, well, I am drawing the picture. He said, what part of it, of the lion you have started? He said, from the lion. Oh, don't leave the lion. It doesn't need a lion. And then when he started another place with his stomach, for example, he said, well, stop, what are you doing? And then he said, well, it doesn't need a lion, a stomach, a belly. Until finally, the man who was painting threw the needle away and said, if you can't stand the needle, then don't speak of a lion. So this is the story of love, that you have to stand by the hardships of love. I'll bring it to an end by the story of... there are so many stories and beautiful stories, and there is so much to say about love. I think it's better to tell you that what actually love is in Persian literature, and bring to an end by the word love, which is this auspicious theme of Persian literature. Love, what is love? First of all, there is two kinds of love. One is actually love, and the other is no love.